jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
Big salute to the hottest chat in the MFing game. A-Side official, you already know. The first in the building. Big blunts and boxing the gold on deck. What's good with it? Let me cut this down right quick. Jessica is in the building. What's good? Salute to you. Those of you that's in the building, man, hit that like button for me. Mike on deck, I see you. This right here is a different kind of live, like I said, everybody talking about the same shit, It get extremely boring, I'm not gonna lie, you know what I'm saying? I had to decide between the main event of UFC 298 that just happened, but I thought, talking about this guy right here would be much more interesting. Guess what? I ran into Jacob Noah Macalolooy. You know what I'm saying? He is the guy that has sparred both Crawford and Spence. You know what I'm saying? Let's get down to it, man. He recently, started resurfacing. He's been in the ring, but, I'm going to tell you a little bit about his backstory, but most viral for sparring Errol Spence prior to the Manny Pacquiao fight. He is from the Philippines, and his name pretty much went viral. I guess from going in there and making Spence look like a bobblehead doing leaked training footage. But let's get down to it. Jacob Macalolooy will return to action March 16 at the Fox Theater in Redwood City, California, as part of the West Side Promotions card. All right. They say the viral sensation was all over the internet when he helped Errol Spence prep for Manny Pacquiao. Macalolooy was the man in the famous video who gave Spence honest work before Spence had an eye injury that forced him out of the aforementioned Pacquiao contest. If y'all can... Okay. All right. Okay. I did adjust the settings because hold on, it was a little low, but maybe that did it right there. I turned it down a little bit, but appreciate the info. Let me know if it's still loud though. Macalolooy was the man in the famous video who gave Spence honest work before Spence had an eye injury that forced him out of the aforementioned Pacquiao contest. World champions proclaimed him as a phenom without knowing his name, and that was just all before he had his first pro fight. Now, him being called a phenom, it wasn't in boxing. He was most known for his wrestling, okay? Wrestling and martial arts. He had a fighting family, you know what I'm saying, that was in boxing. He himself was more so orientated around wrestling and martial arts, and that's what he was mostly known for. You will find him to be 28 years of age, and I think if I'm not mistaken, he just turned professional. Um, he just turned professional in 2021. You know what I'm saying? So he had a late start in professional boxing. His record sits at 7 victories, 0 defeats, and 4 knockouts. You know what I'm saying? His residence is San Diego, California. They say he's a southpaw, but from looking at his fights, he's a switch stance fighter. You know what I'm saying? Switch stance fighter. It goes on to say, Macalolooy showed boxing scene the poster of Spence and Crawford and explained why it meant so much. Now, a lot of people didn't know this, but mostly he went viral for sparring Spence, of course. But also he had some work with Crawford. And it says in boxing scene, he said, this poster means so much to me. And the poster of him and Crawford and Spence, because I have gotten to spar both of them, and they are two of the best welterweights in my weight class. Both times I was brought in to mimic Manny Pacquiao, said Macalolooy fondly. The joke was I was sort of a traitor to the Filipinos to help them beat Manny. I was only with Crawford for 2 weeks before his fight fell through. But I was out in Dallas for 7 weeks with Spence. I logged 84 rounds with Spence. He logged 84 rounds. How's the audio, y'all? Let me take a look. Let me just take a listen right quick. Y'all give me a minute. Let me take a listen right quick. Well, I'm checking my mic. I'm checking my sound right quick. Still loud to me. All right, let me get back to it. It goes on to say, hold on. He said, I was only with Crawford for 2 weeks before his fight fell through, but I was out in Dallas for 7 weeks with Spence. I logged 84 rounds with Spence. To be able to say I sparred with both of those guys and got that work and felt I could hang with them, it makes the poster that much more special. So from what I'm gathering from sparring, Macalolooy felt like he can hang with both Spence and Crawford from sparring with them. Whether that resonates to the ring, who knows? But 84 rounds for Spence, that's a lot of rounds to get prepared for Pacquiao. So he knows a little bit about that here and there. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. I guess he knows a little bit. You know, I guess in between time, he was breaking Spence up with them 84 rounds. And, you know, he ended up emancipating Spence's eye in the 84 rounds he was over there in Dallas. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of rounds. But, you know, from martial arts to boxing, to say that you believe that you can hang with, you know, either one of them, I mean, that's yet to be seen. He'll have to prove it at the end of the day. There's no way that he's going to get a fight with neither Crawford or Spence because he only 7 victories in. And plus, he's a late bloomer. So it's been plenty of guys that did well in sparring, but then turn around and it's not what they thought it would be under the bright lights. The article goes on to say Macalolooy went to Columbia University, an Ivy League school for wrestling, and in the same class as Harvard, Princeton, and Yale. It is different from what one usually see on the CV of a professional boxer. He said the 28-year-old Southpaw welterweight is 8-0 with 5 knockouts. Well, his box rec says 7-0. You know how box rec can be now. They say 8-0, box rec say 7-0. I grew up doing martial arts and wrestling, and I never had any aspirations to wrestle in college until my junior year and getting those college offers. Then I ended up committing to wrestle for Columbia University. When I went to college, I knew the Olympics was already out of the cards for me. I was in college at Columbia watching the Rio Olympics and got that itch. If I am not quite at that level for wrestling, I think these boxers could come catch these hands. So why not MMA if he could do both? Good question. Why you didn't go to MMA? You know what I'm saying? It would be good. It would be good if he can pretty much, switch it up a little bit. As far as going to MMA and do boxing, since he's a late bloomer. You never know. Got the wrestling background, which is essential to mixed martial arts. And I think it's something he should have considered. The article goes on to say his goal was to graduate in 2018, then qualify for 2020 Olympics for the U.S., but the plan got derailed. He ended up finding a home in the arena, a gym in San Diego, California. Originally, he sought the gym out for MMA purposes. Macalolooy found himself enamored by the boxes and teachings of Bashir Abdullah. He go on to say, I moved out of New York in 2018. Macalolooy added, I came home for the summer and then by August I moved to San Diego, which had always been my plans to start my fighting career down in San Diego. My uncle was a professional fighter who fought out of San Diego. I started out doing mixed martial arts. I slowly started creeping my way over to the boxing side of the gym. I knew Coach Bashir, former head coach of Team USA. He coached Andre Ward in the Olympic gold medal match, and I started getting in his ear. Coach loved to tell a story that he thought I was just one MMA guy and didn't have the skills, but eventually he let me spar with some of the guys and saw something in me. And he was like, okay, maybe I can work with that. Macalolooy is from fighting family. His grandfather was a boxer in the Philippines. His father started his gym in his grandparents' garage in 1997. There's tons of talented people out there that just don't grow up with the same privilege. Honestly, he concluded, I can't say I grew up super privileged, but I did have parents who provided for me, and a whole community that built me up into the person I am today. So pretty much what he's saying, you know what I'm saying? He had all the tools to go out here and make something happen. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was in mixed martial arts or boxing. He hasn't quite leveled up yet to the viral video of him giving Errol Spence good work. I've listened to some of his interviews that's out there. Seems like a good kid. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't say a kid. He's a grown ass man, but he seems like he knows what direction he wants to go in boxing. But I'm not sure if his dedication is 150% on boxing. You know, when you get with wrestlers, you know, wrestlers tend to hang out a little bit more mixed martial arts. And let's not get it twisted. MMA fighters, strikers, they take up boxing too. You know what I'm saying? They move different. You know what I'm saying? Their boxing training is a bit different than regular boxers because they're basically throwing punches and combinations to basically set themselves up for something else after that. As in boxing, you're throwing combinations and you may move or change directions, change angles and so forth. Same with MMA guys, except They might be trying to level change or set up a kick or spinning technique or anything to that sort, right? So with him, being focused on, MMA first, I'm pretty sure he still trains MMA because he may want to make that a part of his career. But at the end of the day, Macalolooy, he pretty much went viral for the Spence situation and basically segregating Spence's eye from his freaking socket or whatever the case may be. He gave him very, very solid work. He said he was in there hanging with both of them. Now, me looking at his fights, right? Okay, I looked at one of his fights. I wanted to go back in the archives, so I went back to 2022 and watched his first fight. That's the furthest I go back to see what improvement that he's working with. And he's a switch stance fighter. Love using the left hand, whether it's his jab or his two. You know what I'm saying? His power hand. He does switch stances in between fights, and he was able to knock down Edward Rodriguez with his left hand. But he kept on going back to it, just like Ryan Garcia did. He just kept going to the well a little bit too much for me early in the fight. But I must accredit him this. When he throws his combination, he doesn't use excess energy. He does know how to pick his shots. And he can box. I wouldn't put him on the level of any of the big names just because you're in the division with some of these guys that you've had the opportunity to spar. You need to learn how to box with your hands up first. You know what I'm saying? He tend to be right there with his hands down. You can do that in mixed martial arts because, of course, you can throw kicks to set up punches. You can throw punches to set up kicks. You can throw kicks and punches to set up a takedown or anything, any other striking technique you want to use. But in boxing, you know what I'm saying, you got your hands down and you're trying to, throw the left hand without setting up a jab. You know what I'm saying, if you're in a southpaw position. And then when you're in the orthodox position, you pretty much lean heavily on the check left hook. You know what I'm saying? And you got to be able to switch that up right off the back if you're in there with some of these elite guys that's in the welterweight division. But it was good to see him reappear. You know what I'm saying? Macalolooy, the infamous name that people, knew for stepping in there and giving Errol Spence very good work in preparation for Manny Pacquiao. And, from the leaked video, he was having his way. You know what I'm saying? He was having his way with him for a bit. But I'm not going to hype too much on it. I just wanted to give him some shine and let the people know his name was Jacob Noy Macalolooy, Filipino fighter. 28 years old at the moment. Turned professional in 2021. And he has a fight coming up in March. And I could make this about him, pretty much touching Spence up, but I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna do that. He had to earn that. But I just wanted to give him a little shine since no one really heard of him since that viral video went out. I heard him on some talks, some interviews or whatever. He's not braggadocious or anything. You know what I'm saying? Pretty laid back type of cat. Got a good type of energy about him. But he's got to figure out whether he wants to take on boxing full time or be a mixed martial artist. That's the biggest part to me that I'm trying to figure out. What is his dedication meter when it comes to boxing? What is that? Shout out to Boxing Conversation. Reggie Owens on deck. What's good? Ben is on deck. What's good, Ben? Salute. And that's where I'm at with him. Seems like he's very athletic, but he does need to work on tightening up some areas of his technique if he chooses to make his way up the top 15 rankings in the welterweight division. he does bring his punches from, his thighs when he has his hands down sometimes. And unless you got the speed, because he is a wrestler, so wrestlers they used to getting in and out, and the way wrestling helps out boxers is that they're able to get them feints like that. Wrestlers can feint a lot. Then before you know it, they end on a single or double, and they have you on the mat. So that's a bad habit. That's a very bad habit. He gonna have to fix that. Very much so. Yes, he's still undefeated. And I guess there are some people over there that look at him with high praise, but he has some areas to work on. Real talk. He has some areas he need to work on. That's all I'm saying. Him saying he can hang with the guys he was in there with. Okay. You better stay your behind away from Crawford or Spence. You know what I'm saying? You better stay your behind away from Crawford or Spence. But let me take him down to get to some other topics, right? But shout out to Jacob Macalolooy. You know what I'm saying? Best wishes to your career. You know what I'm saying? Best wishes to your career. As far as everything else has been going on, right? So I thought for once that we was gonna, from what I'm hearing, Conor Ben and Gervonta Tank Davis, of course, the money wasn't right. 10 to 15 wasn't enough. So, he's from what Eddie Hearns is putting out there, that Conor Ben is looking to fight someone else. Okay? Who that is, I don't really care. You know what I'm saying? I'm really looking forward to Gervonta Davis getting back in the ring. I can see Conor Ben won that fight with Gervonta, but Conor Ben is definitely going to be the bigger fighter, and he's going to have to understand that he's going to have a rehydration clause in there. Seriously. And Gervonta turning down the fight, it makes sense, because he was like, okay, you got these guys that's ballooning up to middleweight, and why do I have to fight them again? If Tank don't want to fight these guys who's ballooning up to middleweight, and they want to come in negotiations and say, I don't want a rematch clause, then what you expect, bro? I mean, a rehydration clause. What you expect? I mean, you expect that man to go in there who understands how big he is, right? And he ain't trying to go in there and be outweighed by some 25 pounds. Easy. And they don't want to sign a rehydration clause? No, that doesn't make any sense. So you can just keep your ears open for that. I'm really looking forward to see who he returns back to the ring. Now, as far as the rumor mill and the gossip, and the reality TV, the drama series, it's a situation that went down where supposedly, I made comments about Frank Martin going over there to the Queens and things and having an interview. You know what I'm saying? Just hanging out over there, and really didn't tell people what they wanted to know. Well, he capped for one and said he was going to be back in the ring at the end of the year. That was in 2023. That didn't happen. Then, nobody heard from him. So a situation went down on X where I guess information was leaked that, when Frank Martin said he's going to the ceiling, that it was kind of leaked that he may be potentially facing Gervonta Davis. And then I guess the Queens and the things got shut down by Errol Spence, as if, they was going to have that access to Frank Martin. They should have known they wasn't going to get access to Frank Martin like that on a consistent basis. You know what I'm saying? Once all this stuff start to leak out and people get comfortable with these fighters, you'll find out real quick that they're not in control of their basic daily routine. You know what I'm saying? These fighters, I admit, it's good if they come on here and talk to some of these channels so we can kind of get some more familiarization of who they are as a person. But I don't know why Spence shut it down. You know what I'm saying? I don't rock heavy with the queens and things, but I don't have nothing to say about them freaking, you know, having pillow talk with Frank Martin. Long as it's something that's productive to where he's at, where he's going right now. Like, what's going on with you, bro? You know, besides Errol Spence shutting you down, you know, from talking to them, you know, what else is going on with Frank Martin? Are you going to be the one stepping in there with Gervonta Davis? We would like to know. Inquiring minds would like to know if Frank Martin is next. That's all. You know, we heard him say, I'm going to the ceiling. I'm going through the ceiling. I'm going to the ceiling. I'm going to the ceiling. We ain't heard nothing else, man. We tired of this. We tired of this. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we're going to the ceiling. Ceiling for what? You going to put in a fan? What are you going to the ceiling for? To put in some recessed lighting? Damn. I'm going to tell you, the only sport, I'll say this, the 900th and 68th time that boxing is the only sport, the combat sport, that these fighters have the same freaking contagiousness, infectious rash, inflammatory disease when it comes to news. Oh, I got some big news coming. I got some big news for you. I got some big news. Stay tuned. I got some big news. Come on, stay tuned. I got some big news coming. Big news coming. I'm like, what big news is it? I don't hear the mixed martial artists talking like that, but I hear the boxers talk about that all the time. I got some big news coming. I got some real big news. What big news, man? Why don't y'all know the news? Why can't y'all speak on the news, man? Why is it so difficult to make a freaking fight? Boxing continue to have the same freaking behavior. All these fights, I got big news coming. Stay tuned. Got big news. And then they never really release it themselves. They give the news to the Benson, you know, Coppinger, Eidick. You know what I'm saying? They don't even really announce it themselves. Some of them might freaking put it out on IG, but ain't until after the freaking flyer come out or something. And then I'm trying to find out, like, what is the radius? What is the ratio? Not the radius, the ratio of the promotion putting out information, if you that worthy of a flyer, the promotion putting out information, and the fighter leaking, you know, putting out the information. What money is lost in that? Would you save money by letting the fighter release the information, if anything? I mean, how much money do you lose? How much money do you gain if you just give the fighter the information to release to the public? I don't get it. Why aren't boxers able to release information on their fight, man? It is repetitive at this point. It's redundant, and it doesn't make any sense to me, man. Moving on. Josh Taylor and Catterall. It took me back to when Floyd Mayweather was doing a face-off with Victor Ortiz. And I remember when Floyd grabbed Ortiz's neck. You know what I'm saying? First he had his finger in his neck, and then I guess Ortiz had the orders like, you know, you're the C side, D side, E side, F side. You don't do nothing. I'm gonna be doing everything. I remember Floyd put his finger up on his neck like that, and then he grabbed it, and Ortiz didn't even raise his hands to respond. Well, it kind of went the same way with Catterall. You know what I'm saying? And Josh Taylor came out there and kind of, you know, mess with the lapels or whatever on Catterall's suit. Catterall went straight for the throat. He said, I'm not playing around with you. So them guys clearly don't like each other. And I hope Josh Taylor had the best camp of his freaking life, because he's going to need it. You know what I'm saying? I want this should be a very good fight, but from what we heard previously, when he went in there, but prior to him, you know, supposedly having an injury, and he wasn't in the gym the way he's supposed to with Teofimo Lopez. Allegedly, there was, he was on the bottle a little. I don't know, allegedly. But hopefully he has a full-blown, solid fight camp, because Catterall went for his neck. Seriously. Catterall went for his neck. He wasn't playing around. He said, I'm not playing with you. I am not playing with you, man. Moving on to the next transition, I want to talk about Manny Pacquiao. Y'all already know who Manny Pacquiao is. Future Hall of Famer, A-Division World Champion. I did a live, mentioning him about this situation way back when. I just want to touch on this article. It says in 2013, ahead of the 2016 Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro, the organization raised the age limit for its boxing tournament from 34 to 40. All right. The IBA had also approved this entry of professional boxers for the same competition. So if you haven't heard, Manny Pacquiao was trying to get in on this, this Olympic with the IOC. And Manny Pacquiao is 45 years of age. No, not 40. He's 45. Cuatro cinco. He's 45. Okay? It says the 45-year-old Pacquiao and the Filipino Olympic Committee had hoped that the IOC would grant him universal entry, effectively a pass for athletes who would bring an enhanced profile to the games despite not qualifying on merit to the Paris Games. IOC instead explained that they were not eligible to apply for these entries for the boxing tournament as a consequence of their having more than 8 representatives compete at each of the past 2 games. They talking about places are not allocated to teams with an average of more than 8 athletes in individual sports disciplines at the last 2 editions of the Olympics game, read a statement from the IOC. This is the case for the Filipino committee. So, Manny Pacquiao was not approved to fulfill a dream of going in there before. You know what I'm saying? Before the boxing is phased out in this next Olympics. And I don't know how to feel about this. I don't know how well he would have performed if he would have went further. I don't know. I just know Manny Pacquiao is that guy. He's been in there and he's highly experienced. It can't get nobody else with that type of experience at 45 years old. The attempt to go in there and compete with these young guys, and get the job done, try to fight for gold. Thank God his bracelet off, so hopefully we get some news soon. From my understanding, he should have been training already for whoever he's fighting. Jack Catterall pushed Josh Taylor by the neck in the face-off of their first fight. Yeah. Jack Catterall came in there saying, I'm on green. You know what I'm saying? I'm on green right now. That's where I'm at with. I'm green lighting your ass. A lot of folks saying it appeared as though Taylor was under the influence of alcohol. I hope he wasn't. You know what I'm saying? I've heard that he, you know what I'm saying? He like to get oozy woozy. Susie. Give me one more, please. No, give me 2. Give me 2. Doubles, please. Both doubles. I don't know. I hope he's not on that shit. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I hope he ain't on that. Real talk. I hope he's not. But, best wishes to Manny Pacquiao and whatever you got going on. Let me switch to a video where Gilly the Kid, $1 million worth of game, was interviewing Clarissa Shields, aka the GWOAT. And Clarissa Shields was talking about Keith Thurman again. you know, and how she stand on all 10 and she can beat Keith Thurman up. And how, you know, I don't know how she's still holding on to this after what we've seen her, you know, get dropped by a guy that's not even in the top 50. You know what I'm saying? And she got dropped by a guy several years ago. So I don't know why she believes that Keith Thurman is an easy target. You know what I'm saying? She depend on her defense. I don't know what it is. She says she's much bigger than Keith. Listen, you can be big all you want. I mean, the heavyweight division, you have guys in there fighting dudes that outweigh them 30, 40, 50 pounds. But with Keith Thurman, he has been a unified champion before on the male side of the house. I just wish she'll let that go, because Keith is not going to get any more following or subscribers going in there fighting Carissa Shields and walking her down, you know, because she has 2 knockouts, and not caring about her power and doing her dirty. You know what I'm saying? If a guy can knock you down in sparring, what do you think a good Keith Thurman that's been in camp is going to do? You're talking about how big Keith Thurman is. We're talking about muscle, strength. I know you can probably be the average guy out here that's not really, you know, fighting at the highest level of combat sports. But I don't know why you're taking Keith for granted. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't want to see Keith go in there and fight Carissa, because if supposedly, allegedly, she was trying to pull a knife on a dude, you know, for dropping her and claiming he had loaded gloves, and she wanted to try to pull a knife allegedly, I'm done. That shit is ghetto. And then, you know, just to think back what happened when you was in Flint, Michigan, and one of your family members punched Coach Brashear in the back of the head, and he hit the ground. I mean, I'm done, bro. I'm done with all that ghetto shit. You know what I'm saying? When it come to her, I'm done. I mean, stuff is not adding up, man. You got to go through that extreme to almost throw your life away. What if you wouldn't have had nobody there to restrain you? I mean, the dude was up there. You and him both was talking, and he caught you with a good shot. Both of y'all was throwing a combination, and he caught you and you got dropped. You also been dropped in the ring after that by Hannah Gabriel by a nice uppercut, and your mouthpiece came out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, how do you think Keith Thurman is an easy touch? I'm just done with the ghetto type shit. Like, you thinking you'll beat up Keith Thurman because all of a sudden he looks soft and he ain't been in the ring, he's been inactive and all that. I don't get it, man. Just worry about mixed martial arts if that's what you got next. I do see she's training more in mixed martial arts. She does have a fight coming up. So I did see her doing some jiu-jitsu training, you know, trying to work out some submissions, you know, or someone having her back and she's working from a less dominant position to a dominant position. I mean, it's according to how she takes it, bro. If she's willing to take orders from the coach or not, because yeah, she's done a phenomenal job with her achievements in boxing. Now she's going over to have another fight at the PFL. I don't know who her opponent's going to be. I couldn't tell you. But just leave the dudes alone, because if you was willing to try to, you know, pull a knife on a sparring partner and then claim my guy Derek Santos was one of those guys, I know Derek. No, he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't have to do that. He wouldn't go to the extreme to have nobody load no gloves and have that come back on his name. He wouldn't have did that. I'm just done, man. I tried to support. I'm just done. It's just too much going on over there, you know. It's just too much with, you know, people trying to compete with dudes. You know what I'm saying? Until you step in there with a dude, and you know, it has fight a dude that's on your level. That's what I suggest to Carissa Shields. Fight a boxer that's on your level. Don't fight a boxer that's not on your level. If you're saying you want to go up here and do this and that to guys, fight somebody that's on your level, a champion, multiple divisions. You know what I'm saying? Fight that guy, and let's see how that works out for you. Don't fight no average dude. No, just go to the top. You know, fight somebody on the elite level like yourself and see how that turns out for you. Shout out to the Oracle Trick Notes here in the building. What's good with it, Trick? Remember, Errol had some big news, and he ended up being in a car accident. That didn't even happen. The only accident he had was tripping at the fridge for his late night milk and cooking a snack. And strawberries now. I don't know why you didn't put no strawberries. Them fresh strawberries with that milk chocolate. You know, don't forget that, Trick. But appreciate you pulling up that, Trick, as always, brother. Shout out to Andrew Charles, man. Didn't see you in the building. Salute to you, brother. What's good with it? What's good? But I just want her to stay, you know, over there and do what she do. You know, she want to cross over and potentially get a fight with Cyborg. I heard, you know, I seen her and Cyborg have a little meeting up and all that. And, you know, Cyborg is a legend. Cyborg has done kickboxing. Muay Thai. Mixed martial arts. Boxing. She is a legend, man. You know what I'm saying? She's fought in the UFC and mixed martial arts at the highest level at 145 pounds. You know, she's been in there with some of the top Muay Thai experts, you know, in competition. You know, she's like, I think, maybe 2-0 in boxing. She's coming over to boxing. So I guess, you know, at one point in time, she was helping Carissa with some type of, you know, her jiu-jitsu or whatever. You saw a little video come out that she was trying to help Carissa understand, you know, how that works, you know, how difficult it'll be, you know, what she have to deal with. And I guess now she's in the gym, she's putting in the mat time. So if she get taken down, at least she knows somewhat what to do. You know what I'm saying? Somewhat. All you got to do is just work on defense. You know what I'm saying? Just to get the feel of being on your back and work on transitioning and getting back to your feet. There's a lot of areas that you have to work on. Position before anything else. You got to learn how to transition. Position, transition. Transition, position. You know what I'm saying? There's so much that you have to freaking learn. And the video that I seen her, you know, she was on the mat working with some, working out. So let's see what happened with that, bro. That's all I can say. Let's see what happened with that. Up to this point, we still haven't heard anything on Errol Spence's return to the ring. I'm just going to leave that to them. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to leave that to them. Wherever that happens, it happens. People saying he might be back in the ring at the end of the year. But I hear, you know, certain things going on, right? You know, I hear that he may be back in the ring at the end of the year at 154. I hear that he, you know, should have been given a second opportunity to face Crawford. I guess they want, you know, Errol Spence to end up like Jerry McLean. And, you know, real talk. I just think they really want to see that man go in there and face the wrath again. I think he should fight at 160. At this point in time, if it's difficult for him to lose weight, he should go to a division like 160 and try to find his way up there. Don't go to 154. 154 got too much for you right now. And you're talking about 47 to 54. That's not that much weight, to be honest. If you're having trouble cutting down and you had to get to 47, you had to go through, past 154 to get there. So you might as well just, see what 160 feel like with a weight cut and see how your power transfers over there. I told you this before. Go to 160. Don't go to 154. That division is kind of hot. I see Errol Spence picking up his second loss at 154. Real talk. But it doesn't mean he can't box. I just see him potentially picking up his second loss. You know what I'm saying? Lastly, the Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. Mickey Bay had put out there that he feels that Devin Haney will win every round. That's how dominant he'll be against Ryan Garcia. And I don't know if it's gonna be every round, but I think it's gonna be a dominant fight. If Ryan Garcia don't work on defense, if Ryan Garcia doesn't work on letting his combinations go, it's gonna be one of those fights where Haney puts away a lot of rounds, and then Ryan's gonna try to be desperate at the back end of the fight, trying to get a knockout. It's not gonna work with somebody who can keep that punch output active as Devin Haney, and keep that punch rate and activity up the entire fight. I don't know. Based off what he did with Duarte, doing all that funky turn your back, I don't know what the hell he was doing. It's almost like he was trying to show people that he was trying to have somebody, punch his spinal region. You know what I'm saying? So he's not happy with walking. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to be in a scooter for the rest of his life. I don't know what the heck he was saying. He was doing the shozy ozy posy. And I was like, I know Floyd didn't teach you that. But I can see where Floyd has been working with him. I can see that. The only reason I didn't give Diddy James too much of that credit the way Ryan Garcia looked, because, Errol Spence has been a flat-footed fighter. And he ain't never changed up. So when I seen Ryan Garcia come in there, who's a flat-footed fighter before that, and he was moving around the way he was, I say, no, that can't be Diddy James teaching him that. Because Errol Spence been a flat-footed fighter, and he never chose to move around like that and switch up his fighting style. That seemed like Floyd Mayweather. But to my surprise, I did see Ryan Garcia over there doing mitt training. You know what I'm saying? You know how Diddy like swinging them mitts and slapping his fighters in the face. I'm gonna see how long this relationship lasts. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna see how long this relationship lasts. Real talk. I just want to see how long it's gonna last, y'all. To see if Ryan gonna get tired of him trying to slap him in the face. Get your hand up. Get your right hand up now. Get your right hand up. That's defense. Get your right hand up. I know a lot of dudes have Volk winning. I got some guys who bet UFC to swear by Tapura. Really curious to know what were you thinking about that. I told people that Volkanovski had some of the best hands in the UFC. But Volkanovski also been going through some stuff. He also been on record as saying he was drinking leading up to that fight with Makhachev. And he went in there and got stopped by him. So he comes back down to his division to fight a Spaniard who's strong, got power in his hands. I thought Volkanovski would do just what he was doing prior to the knockout. I thought he would keep the momentum. I thought he'd let his combinations go. Seriously. I thought he would be the better striker, and he was showing it. He was showing it until he put that back up against the cage, damn near, and he landed that combination and hit Volkanovski. It was clean. We're talking about 4-ounce gloves, and lights out, man. Lights out. He slept him. I'm not sold on Tapura yet. It's been plenty of guys come over here, but peep this out though. Why are you calling out Conor McGregor though? Seriously, you actually think let's not forget how Conor McGregor looked when he was initially fighting at 145. Just think about that. Volkanovski, Alexander Volkanovski was a 145-pound featherweight champion. The 155 pounds is considered the lightweights. Why would you call out Conor McGregor to fight you? Why? I mean, what you think he's making 45? When he went up there and defeated Jose Aldo, he looked like a skeleton damn near. That's why I'm saying I'm not sold on Topuria, because it don't make any sense to me. He wins one fight against the champion. He picks up the belt. And now all of a sudden he want to call out Conor McGregor. And he wants the fight to be in Spain so he can sell some tickets and get paid. No. Dustin Poirier beat that man back to back. Man, no. I'm not feeling that. Well, Shields, no, I seen she just had back and forth with Chris Cyborg. I want to see that fight in the cage. How we gonna see that fight in the cage, man? How are we gonna see that fight in the cage? What weight class? Carissa Shields about to fight at 165. Cyborg ain't never fought, mixed martial arts in the 165. They're up here making weight classes just to accommodate Carissa because she's getting bigger and bigger. The PFL, they cap for the women's division was 155 pounds. That's when Kayla Harrison was freaking champion. You know what I'm saying? Former Olympian medalist. She was champion. Now they're allowing Carissa Shields to fight at 165. Chris Cyborg, the highest she fought was 145. It wouldn't be fair if they fought in the cage. Unless Carissa can try to, rush it. But that would be stupid because one thing, Cyborg has years and years of experience in BJJ that Carissa would never level up. Just like Carissa has years and years of experience with boxing that Cyborg would never. But if you put them in a cage together on the MMA rules, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Cyborg knows how to kick. She knows how to punch. She knows how to level change. And she definitely knows BJJ. You can come up there and try to throw hands all you want. This is not the same as Amanda Nunes facing Chris Cyborg. It is not the same. That's all I'm saying. It's not the same. But yeah, let's see what goes on with this boxing. I'm not gonna talk too much about Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou because they doing so much promo. It's good. They doing so much promo for them. But we gotta see if the fight's gonna happen, bro. We gotta see if the fight's gonna happen. That's all I can say. We're gonna see if the fight's gonna happen. Is the fight gonna happen is the biggest question. I see them putting all the promo into it as always. Is this fight gonna happen? But that's all I got, man. I gotta bounce. I got another busy day tomorrow. Shout out to the hottest chat in the MFing game, A-Side Official. Appreciate y'all for pulling up. Until next time, man, y'all hit the like button and support. I appreciate you. I'm out.